Podcasting from her kitchen table, it's Jacqueline J. Here with another episode of Cast Iron Skillet Chronicles, where we focus on faith, family, fun, and finance for my fierce, fly, and fabulous sisters over 40. Come on in the kitchen. Coffee's brewing. Pull up a chair, and girl, let's talk. Now, here is your host for Cast Iron Skillet Chronicles, Jacqueline J. Welcome back to the kitchen. Question. Did you know poverty is not just an environmental condition, but also a mindset? If you think you're in poverty, you are. If you are physically in poverty but know there's a way out, there absolutely is. No matter what your circumstances, you can get out of physical and mental poverty, but you have to believe. And not just say you believe, but believe with every fiber of your being that it is already here, even if you can't see it quite yet. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Now. The future is now. Seize the day now. Stop waiting for tomorrow is not promised. And just faith the size of a mustard seed. The word says if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain, be ye removed into the sea, and it will be cast down into the sea. The size of a mustard seed. Do you know how big a mustard seed is? Faith, but you have to have the faith. And watch the words you say to yourself. Watch how you speak. The words that come out of your mouth go back into your ears. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Do you constantly refer to what you don't have, or if this and so will happen? Speak into your life positivity. Speak those things in the present. What has contributed to our pandemic of poverty? Just because our community is in a collective pandemic of poverty doesn't mean we have to stay here. Doesn't mean you have to stay here. So, how do we get out? Yes, we. This is not just a you problem, not just a me problem. It's a we problem. One of the first things that needs to happen is we need to get educated. Economic education. Now, before you start running for the hills, hold on a moment. It's not that scary. But honestly, that is one of the things that keeps us in this pandemic of poverty. We are afraid to learn. We think economics is too complicated for us to learn, so we just leave that kind of stuff to the quote unquote experts or other people. Did you not know we have been playing a game of chess when the world, we've been given a checkerboard to play with while others have been playing chess with our lives and our community. It's high time we start learning how the game is played and use it to our advantage. And it's not enough for us just to be educated. Then we need to take what we have learned, apply it, then teach it to the next generation. We also need to get away from that hoarder mentality. I'm sorry to say it, but we have it so many times when we get a piece of information or when something is given to us or some nugget, some tidbit is provided to us. We want to keep it to ourselves or charge an arm and a leg to the next person to get what we have, so that we can provide what we have learned to others. We want to gouge folks. Those who are looking to get out of poverty don't need to be gouged in the process. Are you willing to work for what you say you want, or are you just expecting it to somehow just drop out of the sky into your lap? John chapter 5, verse 6. Remember the story about the man at the pool of Bethesda? He was couldn't walk. He was crippled. Every day the angel would come and trouble the water, and someone else would get in before he got in. Jesus came by and asked him if he wanted to get well, and he started talking to Jesus about how long he'd been sick. Jesus didn't ask the man how long he'd been there. He asked him if he wanted to get well. So, do you want to get well? Okay, so let's begin. Step 1. Personal economic overview. There are at least, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but there are at least 7 areas you need to be mindful of in terms of personal economics. Insurance, wills and estates, credit, education and restoration, income management, debt payoff, net worth, identity monitoring, savings, investing, real estate and property, and taxes. The one thing that I finally learned and that really got into my spirit is that I don't have to know it all. I don't have to be an expert in everything. What I do need is access to those who are more knowledgeable than I am to learn as much as I can so that I can not only get my financial house in order, but so that I can teach others to get their financial house in order. And I was talking to someone the other day, and she was saying, and I was telling her, I was like, well, I'm still there's still some stuff I'm working on. No shame in my game, to be transparent. Not all of us, are doing wonderfully. And there are some things that I still need to work on in terms of my finances. And she said, that may be, but as far as you've come already, you are 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of the person that doesn't have the information you have. So you are ahead of the game in some circumstances. And again, so that's one of the reasons why I'm here, to provide some of that information to others. I'm not a hoarder. I am not here to keep all of the information for myself and keep you, stuck and wallowing in whatever you may be stuck in, and not offer you or provide you information for a way out. So circumstances tend to teach us a lot. But the question is, are we going to take that education to help the next person again, or are we going to keep it to ourselves? So I did have a circumstance recently regarding the area of wills and estates, which I will absolutely detail in another episode. But today, let's talk about insurance and life insurance specifically. Life insurance is not for you, but for those who are left to pick up the pieces if you should pass away before all of your obligations, if you will, are taken care of. So if you still have children, if you're still paying for college, if you're still paying for a house, there are so many things that could, if you have a number of things that are relying on your income or your paycheck that would be challenged or somehow, not whole, or, things would fall into disarray if you weren't around. That's what life insurance is for. It's to take care of those areas and to help your family move on and still be in an okay place financially. They're not going to be in a good place because they'll be missing you, but they'll be in an okay place in that they may be able to keep the house. Depends upon the face value of your policy, and there's a number of different factors that are associated with that. But Lord willing, you would have taken a look at those particular finances, and the house may be able to pay it off. The children may be able to continue their college education, and other bills and things of that nature may be able to be taken care of. But some of you, maybe you don't own a house. So some of you may be thinking, well, I don't have anything. I don't own anything, or I don't have much. Even with that, unfortunately, and I know from personal experience, and not from my own, because I'm still here talking to you, but a recent situation, death can be expensive, people. The average cost of a funeral is $12,000. The average. Without life insurance, many families are left to scrape together what they can just for a decent service. And still others resort to crowdfunding, GoFundMe, and these other sites to supplement family funds, if there are any family funds available at all. Now, there are many kinds of life insurance policies out there, but there are only two basic types: term life and whole life. Every other kind of policy has one of these two basic types at its core. So term life insurance, as the name implies, covers whoever is being insured for a specific period of time or term. Usually that's about 20 years. Whole life insurance, also, as the name implies, covers whoever's being insured for their whole life. Now, the older you are when you get your policy, the higher your premium will be. So whatever type of policy you purchase, make sure you take into consideration your family, your finances, and your lifestyle. So as far as your family is concerned, do you have children? How old are they? How long before they finish college? Where do they want to go to college? Do you own your home? How much longer before it's paid off? And other questions with regard to the family. As far as your finances are concerned, what does your credit look like? Believe it or not, your credit score goes into determining the premium of your policy. Not sure if you knew that, but that is a factor. How much can you invest monthly toward your policy? Your lifestyle. What types of activities do you enjoy? Are any of those activities dangerous? Do you smoke? How is your health? Do you have any pre-existing or underlying conditions? All of these items play a part in determining how much the face value of your policy should be, or how much you should take into consideration when determining how much you want your face value to be, as well as what the premium is going to be for that policy based on a number of determining factors. These are just several of the areas or the items that are taken into consideration. So again, that's just insurance. There are at least 10 other areas that we'll be going through in the next several weeks with regard to ensuring that I'm doing my part. I'm doing what I can to help our community get out and release ourselves from this pandemic of poverty. Take care, stay safe, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and be blessed. Until next time, bye now.